Premonitions. That strange feeling that something bad, or sometimes good, is about to happen, even before there's any sign of it. Most of us have brushed it off as coincidence. But for others, the experience is so vivid, so accurate, it's impossible to ignore. So how come some people feel the future before it happens? For centuries, cultures all over the world have wrestled with this mystery. Ancient Greeks believed in oracles who could glimpse tomorrow. Indigenous traditions spoke of dreams that guided hunters or warned of danger. Even today, millions of ordinary people claim to have had moments where reality seemed to bend. Moments where they knew what was coming before it arrived. Premonitions usually show up in three main forms. First, there are dreams. These aren't your usual scattered fragments of sleep. They come sharp, with clear detail, often about events that haven't happened yet. Someone dreams of a car crash, and days later it happens. Someone sees a loved one in danger, and it plays out in real life. The second type is the gut feeling, that weight in your chest, that sudden dread when nothing seems wrong. People have turned planes around, skipped trips, or avoided disasters simply by trusting it. And then there are flashes, brief startling images or thoughts that intrude on the mind. They might last seconds, but when the future unfolds, they match perfectly. Science has tried to explain these away. Psychologists say our brains are like prediction machines. We constantly notice tiny details, the shift in someone's voice, the flicker in their expression, a storm cloud forming far away. Most of this doesn't reach our conscious mind, but deep down the brain is calculating. When the pieces line up, it delivers a warning that feels supernatural. But if it's all just pattern recognition, how do we explain the ones that come true with chilling precision? Take the example of Abraham Lincoln. Just days before he was assassinated, he described a dream where he saw a funeral in the White House. Soldiers stood guard, mourners gathered, and when he asked who had died, someone told him, the President of the United States. Days later, Lincoln lay in that coffin. Coincidence, or something beyond the reach of science? Stories of premonitions don't stop with Lincoln. In fact, they seem to echo through history, especially during times of tragedy. One of the most chilling examples comes from Aberfan, Wales in 1966. A coal tip collapsed, burying an elementary school under tons of waste and killing more than 100 children. The disaster shocked the world, but what came afterward was even more haunting. Investigators found over 150 accounts of people, adults and even children, who claimed to have had visions or dreams of the tragedy before it happened. Some children had drawn pictures of dark waves covering their school. Others told their parents about nightmares of being buried alive. These warnings weren't written afterward. They were documented before the collapse. How do we explain that? Was it collective anxiety in a mining town? Or something deeper that connected their minds to the disaster waiting to unfold? Modern science tries to ground these stories in psychology. One explanation is source monitoring error. The brain confuses imagination, memory, and reality. A dream might feel like a prophecy, when in truth, it's our mind recycling fragments of information we picked up without realizing. Another explanation is confirmation bias. People forget the thousands of dreams that never come true, but when one does, it feels supernatural, and it sticks. But even these explanations leave gaps, because some premonitions are documented before the event, and they match the future with uncanny accuracy. Too specific, too sharp, too hard to ignore. This leads to stranger theories. Some researchers in parapsychology suggest that consciousness itself may not be fully trapped in the present moment, that just as light can bend and sound can echo, the human mind might occasionally catch signals leaking from the future, like a radio briefly tuning in to a station that hasn't started playing yet. It sounds impossible, but then again, so did electricity once. The debate over premonitions always circles back to one unsettling question. What is time, really? To us, life feels like a straight line. Past, present, future, one moment leading to the next. But some physicists argue that time doesn't flow at all. It simply exists. Imagine a book. Every chapter, past, present, future, is already written. We flip through it one page at a time, but the chapters are all there. If that's true, then maybe premonitions are moments when the human mind glances ahead, catching a glimpse of a page we haven't reached yet, and history is full of eerie examples. In 1912, a handful of passengers canceled their tickets for the Titanic after experiencing vivid dreams of the ship sinking. Decades later, people reported foreseeing plane crashes, car accidents, even personal tragedies with terrifying accuracy. Were these coincidences, or were they cracks in the illusion of time? Modern science tries to explain it differently. Some researchers suggest premonitions might come from the brain's extraordinary ability to detect patterns. Your subconscious notices tiny details you aren't even aware of. Changes in someone's behavior, subtle shifts in the environment, and it pieces them together, warning you before your conscious mind catches up. That could explain why a mother just knows her child is in danger, or why a soldier senses an ambush moments before it happens. But even with those explanations, the mystery doesn't go away, because sometimes the details are too sharp, too exact, to be brushed off as pattern recognition. People don't just sense danger, they see it play out in their dreams, exactly as it happens later in reality. This brings us back to the human mind itself. What if consciousness isn't locked in the present? What if it stretches, reaching into both past and future, glimpsing fragments we can't fully understand? Premonitions might not be a superpower at all, but simply a part of human awareness we haven't learned to measure yet. Skeptics will always dismiss it as imagination, faulty memory, or coincidence. But for those who have felt it, the ones who have seen the future before it arrived, premonitions remain one of life's greatest unsolved mysteries. So maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. Maybe premonitions are the brain's survival mechanism. Or maybe, just maybe, they're proof that time is not a straight line, and the future isn't as far away as we think. And that leaves us with a haunting question. If some people can feel tomorrow before it comes, does that mean the future is already written? Or are we simply glimpsing possibilities waiting to unfold?